Couldn't do it, Louis. Abraham Lincoln, Honest Abe. Couldn't do it, Louis, right? Remember, I used to say I can be more presidential. Look. I've always said I can be more presidential than any president in history, except for Honest Abe Lincoln when he's wearing the hat. That's tough. That's tough. That's a tough one to beat. No, it's much easier. Being presidential is easy. All you have to do is act like a stiff. Look. Ladies and gentlemen of Texas, it is a great honor to be with you this evening. And the media would love it, and everybody would be out of here so fast. You wouldn't have come in the first place when you get right down to it. But Democrats will never get that chance because Texas will never give it to them. Texas is not giving it. Remember in the last election, they said, these phonies in the back, they said, Texas is in play. They said Utah's in play too. And I came here, we had rallies like this, thousands of people outside that couldn't get in. And I said, why is Texas in play? They say, because it's phony, it's suppression. They try and get your hopes down. They're suppressing. This is just like fake news. But they said Texas. They said Texas is in play. Ladies and gentlemen, Texas is in play. This is CNN. Texas is in play. President Trump. And I had guys on from Texas, and they're wearing cowboy hats. Sid and a lot of guys. They go, I don't know about you, but I know something about Texas. And Donald Trump is not going to lose Texas, I can tell you that. And Texas is not in play. And, well, we had a lot of guys. Sid. Big, tough guys. They're on television. No, I don't know what you're talking about. Texas is not in play. And then that great November 8th, we had that great, great night. And the polls closed at 7 o'clock. And usually they have to take hours and, sometimes at least, even if it's big, they take a half an hour. The Texas polls have closed, and usually if it's close, it takes hours. And if it's not even just like so close, it takes a long time. So they go, ladies and gentlemen, the polls have closed in the state of Texas. Donald Trump has won the state of Texas. Right? Donald Trump. The polls have closed in Utah. Remember the guy with the shaved head? He was going to be my competition. Even Hillary beat him. Now he's on these talk shows knocking the hell out of me all the time. No, even Hillary beat this guy in Utah, right? Hillary came in second. I came in first by a lot, but that was another one. Too close to call. Except, ladies and gentlemen, Utah, the polls have closed. Donald Trump has won the state of Utah. It is in the same song. And we won by a lot. We won by a lot. And we won Florida, and we won South Carolina, and we won Georgia, and we won North Carolina, and we won Pennsylvania. We won a lot. Remember these phony people? There is no way to get to 270. You had to get to 270. So I kept going to Maine. I love Maine. But Maine 2, you get one. It's cut in half. Maine 2, you get one. I went there 4 or 5 times because they got me up, the phonies, they got me up to 269. Couldn't get to 270. So I went there. I won, by the way. I won Maine 2. I got one. But I went there, and I went there a lot. That's the beautiful thing about the Electoral College. You go everywhere. You don't just spend it 3. And winning the popular vote would be much easier. I'd rather have that. I'd go to 4 states and relax. I went to 21 states. Sure. I used to be a believer in the other, but I think winning it's like you're a track star. You're working out for the 100-yard dash or the mile. It's a different form of training. It's a different form. But we did great. They said, he cannot get to 270. And they were right. We got to 306. After decades of economic surrender, I have taken historic action to confront China's rampant trading abuses, and we've made great progress, and our relationship with China is fantastic, and great things are happening. You watch. They get it now. They get it, and a lot of good things are happening. We're replacing NAFTA with disastrous. I mean, it's been, to me, probably, I used to call it the worst trade deal in history. I think the world trade has been WTO, one of real beauty, World Trade Organization. That's a real beauty. They consider China a developing nation, and because you're a developing nation, Ted, right? They consider China to be a developing nation, and because they're developing, they get tremendous, and we wrote them letters. We don't consider them to be a developing nation. We don't consider India to be a developed, because they're ripping us off. And we didn't win any cases at the WTO, and now we just won $7.5 billion of countries that we're taking advantage of. And we've won a lot of cases lately. We didn't win anything for years, practically. Now we've won a lot of cases. You know why? Because they know I'll leave if they don't treat us fairly. They know it. And then the piggy bank is gone, where they all robbed from. We're replacing the NAFTA disaster, and we have to get this crazy Nancy Pelosi to put this thing up for a vote. We have to get her. And the USMCA is a giant victory for Texas farmers, ranchers, manufacturers, workers, and oil. The Democrats should pass it. Overwhelmingly, they will, but Nancy has to put it up for a vote. Do nothing, Democrats. Do nothing. Nowhere is the Democrat betrayal of our nation more dramatic than on immigration. In recent debates, did you see these debates? You believe what I'm competing with? I don't know, when I had to compete with Ted Cruz, that was brutal. You know, he was the national debate champion. Story I've never told. I never did that before, right? I ran for office. All of a sudden, I'm supposed to be debating tomorrow night. I said, who are these people? The hell, I don't know all of them. I know a lot of them. I contributed to a lot of them. They used to treat me very nice when I contributed to them. Not so nice when I was their opponent. It changed a lot. But I said, let me see. I want to see who are these people. I'm going to a debate. I never debated. My whole life has been a debate, but I never debated like with a podium and this and that. So I said, who are they? And we had 17 people, plus me. We had 18. It was actually not 17, it was 18. Remember? Gilmore. Nobody remembers him. But we had 18 people. I said, who are these people? Are they any good at debating? And I hired a debate coach. And he lasted for about 10 minutes. I said, this guy knows less than I do. He didn't know anything. He didn't know anything, it's true. He said, never, ever interrupt while they're speaking. I said, okay, coach, put me in, coach. And after a couple of those statements, I mean, you can't beat Ted Cruz if you don't interrupt him. It's impossible. But it's true. So let me see the cards, let me see the whole thing. I want to see it. I need help. I'm going to be debating in front of millions of people. And everyone's saying, do you think Trump's going to be able to debate professionally? I said, let me see these cards. And all of them, he was president of his class. One guy was a good debater in college. He was this, he was okay. But they give me the first card, Ted Cruz. And it says, National Debate Champion from Princeton. Is that right? And then National Debate Champion from Harvard. I said to my wife, first lady, potentially. I said, my potential first lady, I got a problem. I said, some of these guys are okay. They were only president of the class. Almost all of them ran for president of the class. I never did. I like playing baseball better. It's cool. But I said, Melania, and I called Ivanka. I called my kids. I said, I got a problem. Ted Cruz was the national debate. He was the #1 guy in college. He was the #1 guy in law school. How the hell do I beat a guy that's that good at debating? But we came out okay, Ted. And Ted was tough. Smart as hell and tough. Tough. Good man. But it is true. The first card I looked at, seriously, was Ted Cruz, and he was literally, I mean, national debate. He was the best in all of college and in law school. And he's a talented guy. In recent debates, you see these people up there. They're not Ted Cruz, believe me. Hey, Ted, you should turn Democrat. You would win in that group, very. No? He says. I don't think so. Every single Democrat candidate for president raised their hand in favor of giving free health care to all illegal aliens. They want to give more to illegal aliens than they give to American citizens. You see that. As president, I will never allow the Democrats to take away your health care dollars and give them to people that are in our country illegally. Can't do it. In fact, I just signed an executive action to protect American health care benefits for all American citizens. Among those hardest hit by illegal immigration are millions of legal immigrants right here in Texas, including millions of patriotic, hardworking Mexican Americans who play by the rules, pay their taxes, follow our laws, and strengthen our communities. Whether you are a first generation or 10th generation, and every American citizen, and you've been treated so badly, but you're not being treated badly anymore, you know? We got rid of the individual mandate from crazy Obamacare. Every American citizen deserves a government that defends your jobs, your safety, your family, your borders, and is always loyal to you for a change. We're loyal to you. My administration has reduced illegal border crossings by over 60% since May, and that's with no help from the Democrats. They won't close up the loopholes. They won't close the loopholes, and we could do it in 15 minutes. And we're building the wall, and we're doing all of these things, but the Democrats won't close up the loopholes. You know what the loopholes are, right? How about catch and release? You catch them. You say, hello, darling, how are you? Could you please give us your name and phone number? They don't have a phone. Could you give us your address? They don't want to have an address that's in Honduras. Could you please give us your address and your name? They can't. They said, that's okay. We catch and we release, and they go into our country. And then we are getting them out of the country. And you know what? Some are very good people. Some are unbelievably dangerous and bad people. And we're focusing on the bad, and they're getting the hell out of our country, okay? While we're fighting for shared priorities, the American people, the Democrat Party, has never been farther outside of the mainstream. They've gone nuts. Every Democrat running for president is pushing a health care agenda that would utterly eviscerate Medicare. My administration will always protect Medicare for our beloved seniors, and we will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions. Our ambitious campaign to reduce the price of prescription drugs, has produced the largest decline in drug prices in over 51 years. People don't talk about it. The press will not talk about it. We have news conferences. We tell them this, they will not put it in the press. You have no idea how dishonest the media is. You have no idea. Virtually every top Democrat also now supports late-term abortion, ripping babies straight from the mother's womb right up until the moment of birth. And that crackpot governor from Virginia executes the baby after birth. You saw that, right? After birth. You remember that one from last year. That's why I've asked Congress to prohibit extreme late-term abortion, because Republicans believe that every child is a sacred gift from God. Democrats are now the party of crazy politicians, high taxes, high crime, open borders, late-term abortion, socialism, and blatant corruption. They're corrupt, like Schiff is corrupt. He's corrupt. The Republican Party is the party of the American worker, the American family, and it's the party of the American dream. It's also the party of Honest Abe Lincoln. We forget that. We gotta use that more often, don't you think? You know, Honest Abe. I liked Honest Abe. We've confirmed. He says, Honest Donald. Thank you. Explain that to them. You're right. We've confirmed 152 federal judges to apply the laws written, including 2 Supreme Court justices, Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh. You know, when I got into office, they say the most important thing a president can do, I actually think it's defense. But they say is the appointment of federal judges. So when I got in, always when you get in, there are none. How many do you have? I have none. None. So I got in and say, how many federal judges do I have? Sir, you have 142 federal judges. I said, no, you don't understand the question. That's impossible. That would mean that President Obama didn't appoint 142 judges. You get none. Or you're doing a bad job as president because you're representing a different philosophy, very different. So I came, I said, no, check it again. Then they said 138, then they came back. Actually, sir, the number is 142. We were right the first time. 142 judges. Within 2 months, we will have John and Ted and all of these great congressmen. We will have passed 182 federal judges. And then they say, Obama, wasn't he such a wonderful president? How are you a wonderful president? How are you a wonderful president when the most important thing you can do, you hand it over to the Republicans, 142? How is that good? I mean, how is that good? If I were a Democrat, I wouldn't be too happy about that number. And we'll have a record number of judges. By the time our term is over in 16 years, maybe 20. I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding because every time I do that, they say, see, he's assuming control. We have this crazy guy on television, and he goes, you know, he's talking to a guest. He goes, you know he's going to win, don't you? You know he's going to win. I mean, we've done a good job. He should be happy. But he said, our military, our schools, our this, everything. He says, you know he's going to win. And the guest goes, well, no, we're going to fight, we're going to fight. No, he's going to win. And you know, he's never leaving. You know that, don't you? He's never leaving. He's never going to leave. And I thought this wacko was kidding. You know, he's a comedian. I thought he was kidding. He's serious. He really believes that. We passed for the veterans VA choice and VA accountability on behalf of those great people. They've been trying to pass it for almost 50 years. They couldn't get it done, but those guys right there and me, we got it done. And to protect America's security, I withdrew the United States from the horrible, one-sided Iran nuclear deal. I recognized Israel's true capital and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. And we also recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. For years, you watched as your politicians apologized for America. You've seen it many times. Oh, I'm so sorry. Now you have a president who's standing up for America and standing up for your great state of Texas. You must never forget, the 2020 election is about one thing, and it's coming up fast. It's about you. It's about you. One thing about you. I'm doing this for you. You know, we had, in 2016, I really believe it was maybe the greatest election. I guess George Washington was good, right? But that was easy. And by the way, he did even better percentage-wise in judges than I did. He had 100%. But we could have 50%. That's not bad. And I had many more than he had. So I guess you got to give George Washington, what do you think, Ted? You got to give him something. I'd say Honest Abe, that was a pretty good election, right? Andrew Jackson, they say ours topped Andrew Jackson. But Andrew Jackson was a good election. But we had among the greatest elections of all time. But we have to now cement that election. Got to cement it. And once we do, it's going to be very hard to take this beautiful experiment apart. It's going to be very hard. Because it's all about your family, it's all about your future, and it's all about the future fate of our great country. So important. With your help, we will lift millions of more citizens from welfare to work, dependence to independence, and poverty to prosperity. Together, we will elect a Republican Congress to create a safe, modern, fair, and lawful system of immigration. And by the way, thank you, Robert Jeffress, for being here wherever you may be in this massive. Wherever you are, Robert, where is he? He got up, he started saying, he may not be the greatest person. I said, this is like 4 years ago. I see this guy, what a mouthpiece this guy. And he's a man of God. And he said, he may not be the greatest. He may not be the most perfect Christian. He may not know the Bible as well as some of us. But he's a leader, and I love Donald Trump. I said, who is that guy? I love that guy. Robert Jeffress. He's a great guy. Got a big, big group of people on Sunday mornings, too, I can tell you. We will enact trade deals that result in more products proudly stamped with those beautiful words, that beautiful phrase, I love it, made in the USA. We will achieve new breakthroughs in science and medicine, finding new cures for childhood cancer, and ending the AIDS epidemic in America in less than 10 years. We're doing that. Who would have believed we could do that? We're doing that. And the previous administration spent no money on that, and we're spending a lot. But think of that. Who would have thought that? We're going to end, within 10 years, the AIDS epidemic in our country. Who would have thought we've advanced that far? We will defend privacy, free speech, free assembly, religious liberty, and the right to keep and bear arms. Above all, we will never stop fighting for the values that unite people all across our land and throughout the great state of Texas. This is a great state. We support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. We stand with the incredible heroes of law enforcement. Thank you. We believe in the dignity of work and the sanctity of life. We believe that faith and family, not government and bureaucracy, are the true bedrocks of our society. We believe in the creeds of self-reliance, personal responsibility, and American independence. We believe that children should be taught to love our country, honor our history, and always respect our great American flag. Loyal citizens like you help build this country, and together we are taking back this country, our country. We love our country. We're returning power to you, the American people. That's what we've done. From Dallas to El Paso, from Houston to Austin, from the Red River to the Rio Grande, this state was settled by some of the toughest men and strongest women ever to walk on the face of the earth, Texas. This is the state where William Travis, James Bowie, and Davy Crockett made their last stand at the Alamo. This is the state where a small band of patriots at the Battle of Gonzales, armed with a single cannon, stared down a foreign army and declared, "Come and take it." And Texas is the state where generations of farmers, ranchers, pioneers, and oil workers built a life and a home with their own two beautiful hands. They didn't have a lot of money. They didn't have a lot of luxury. But they all had one thing in common. They loved their families, they loved their country, and they loved their God. These courageous Texas patriots did not shed their blood, sweat, and tears so that we could sit at home while others tried to erase their legacy, demolish our liberty, and destroy our proud American heritage. We will never, ever allow that to happen. With your help, your devotion, and your drive, we are going to keep on working. We are going to keep on fighting. And we are going to keep on winning, winning, winning. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together, we will make America wealthy again. We will make America proud again. We will make America strong again. We will make America safe again. and we will make America great again. Thank you, Texas. Thank you.
A glass of wine in her hand. I knew she was gonna meet her connection. At her feet was a footloose man. You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. What you want, but if you try sometimes, well, you might find you get what you need. And I went down to the demonstration to get my fair share of abuse. Just fine.